You come into a space and your life and prospects look one way, and then something shifts, perspective shifts, and suddenly a whole new world of options open up. Insight is one of the most satisfying moments in coaching. It's also one of the most overrated. Have you ever had a client look you in the eye and say something like this? I know exactly what my problem is. And they're usually right. They can explain the pattern clearly. They can describe how they keep repeating it. They can even tell you what the better decision would be next time. Sometimes they've even been thinking about it for years. They've journaled about it. They've talked about it with their friends. They've worked through it in therapy. And maybe by the time they arrive in your coaching room, the insight is already sitting right there on the table. And yet, in all of that, the behavior hasn't changed. If you coach long enough, you eventually run into this moment where insight is abundant, but transformation is strangely absent when it should be visible. The client understands themselves better than ever, and still the same choices keep appearing in their life. It can leave even very skilled coaches wondering, what exactly is missing? Because insight feels powerful, and actually many powerful coaches stop by just coaching insight. When someone finally sees their pattern clearly, there's a sense of relief and awe in the room. The fog lifts, the explanation lands. Everyone can feel that something important has just been recognized. But recognition alone rarely reorganizes the organism. The mind can understand something instantly. It's that miraculous shift. But the nervous system learns much more slowly. If you're curious why some people seem to be able to act on their insights while others keep circling relatively the same range, it often comes down to how their nervous system organizes itself under pressure, in this case, the pressure of change. We map this through 4 orientations: the warrior, the sage, the shapeshifter, and the asset. And there's a short assessment you can take in the description below to see which one tends to run your system when the stakes rise. You can see it for yourself. You can start seeing it for your clients. I remember a past client of mine, top of his field. Now he was innovating something new. But oddly, every session, when I'd ask him what he would like to create from this time, he'd sit back and he'd say, wow me, blow my socks off. Now, my response, not my job. But here's the thing, he was seeking the next insight hit without actually wanting to sit in the responsibility, the pressure to do the things that would create the change. So it really wasn't changing anything. Insight had become his drug of choice. Now, think about one of your clients. Perhaps they know that they need to raise their prices. It's just not sustainable anymore. They have said it out loud many times. They understand their value, or the way I like to say it, the value of their skills and their presence. They understand the economics of their business. They even agree with you that the change is way overdue. But when the moment arrives to say the new number with a possible next client, something inside their body tightens or waffles. Their breathing will change, their shoulders lift, their voice will soften or drift towards justification. Suddenly, the clarity and the power that they had in your coaching session, it feels harder for them to access. Nothing about the power of that insight disappeared in that moment. What changed was the pressure on the nervous system. They didn't have the body yet that could carry the change. Every meaningful action in life carries a load. It risks something: reputation, belonging, financial security, identity. And the mind can imagine the action easily, but the organism, the animal underneath, must decide whether it feels safe enough to carry it. When the nervous system senses that the load is manageable, behavior moves. It's oddly quick. The client delivers the message, makes the offer, steps into a new opportunity. But when the nervous system reads the moment as a threat, the body begins protecting itself. So attention will scatter, their energy will drop, the conversation moves somewhere safer. They want to take off all the pressure. Even that conversational phrase, no pressure, no pressure. From the outside, it can look like procrastination or avoidance or even consideration. From the inside, it is the animal body trying to maintain stability. This is why insight alone rarely produces the change your client is hoping for. Insight tells the mind what should happen, but capacity determines whether the body can actually execute it. Once you start seeing your coaching through that lens, your work will begin to shift. Instead of endlessly searching for a better explanation or a frame, you begin helping your clients develop the somatic capacity required to carry the bigger life they want. A leader will learn to stay grounded even while delivering difficult feedback. An entrepreneur learns to hold the tension of charging what their work is worth. A creative learns to remain steady while attention turns toward their work on a bigger stage. And as the nervous system becomes more capable of carrying pressure, something interesting happens. The behaviors that once required enormous effort, they begin to feel almost natural. The action that used to trigger their hesitation, it just simply becomes the next step. And that shift from insight to capacity is the deeper work that we are so passionate to explore inside the Prestige. Through immersive events that stretch your somatic range, and then coaching circles where we train real presence and decision-making under pressure, members will develop the biological infrastructure required for meaningful change inside of this Applied Somatics Academy. If that kind of work resonates with you, you're welcome to explore it and join us for a season, because once your nervous system can carry the charge, the weight of the moment, insight then finally has somewhere to land, and that's when you're going to see the switch into real demonstrated power. See you next time. Thanks for joining.